big Aries energy coming through with this total solar eclipse that's happening on the 8th of April 2024. Not only is this an eclipse, not only is this a total solar eclipse, but the sun and the moon will be exactly conjunct Chiron by the degree and by the minute. Exactly, right? We've got a big rebirthing of the Chiron energy, clearing out old wounds and tapping into the wisdom. Hello and welcome. My name is Chloe. I work with card divination, astrology, and as you just heard, I channel energies from multi-dimensional spaces through my body, both the vocal light language that you just heard and the physical movements that you can see with my hands. Working with these energies, we bring in healing, attunement, and activation codes to help us bring in alignment with our soul's frequency in this incarnation. All of these modalities will be brought together in each of these readings. Whether you're consciously aware of what's going on, this is an alignment with source and your higher self. Sometimes we don't need to be consciously aware for things to have an impact. In fact, most of the time. For those of you who know your time of birth and know your natal chart, I really recommend you check out the sign that falls in the first house. This is called your rising sign, where your ascendant is. I will be reading each of the signs in terms of the astrology as they are the rising sign. However, this does not invalidate you looking at any other part of your chart, perhaps where your sun and your moon are, because they are getting activated with this lunation. So just look to wherever that sign falls in your chart, look to the house that it's in, the themes of that house. You want to apply those themes as well as all the meaning you've got going on in that sign to the messages that come through. It will be as if that sign has now moved to the first house. So the astrology will still link in. You just got to apply a little bit of natal chart maths meaning on top of it. Right, I'm going to keep this introduction short and I'm going to be reading for Virgo. Virgo rising. How you doing, Virgo? So I cut the deck a couple of times before doing this reading, and I got the Death card, I got the Nine of Wands, I got the Page of Pentacles, and the Ten of Cups. And this feels like a letting go of an old cycle. That Nine of Wands has been showing up for quite a few of the signs. There's no getting around it. A new way of thinking that is bringing in emotional clarity and fluidity in your outside world. For those of you who are new, who didn't quite catch the introduction, I channel multi-dimensional energies through my body. You just heard some vocal light language. You'll see my hands moving around. This is a physical form of light language. All of this is bringing in healing, attunement, activation codes, in alignment with source and your higher self. So whether you're consciously aware of what's going on, it's all bringing in activation. So I'll be bringing this in as well as breaking down the astrology and pulling some tarot cards for you all. Now, regardless of whether Virgo is your rising sign or not, Virgo and Aries are in conjunct one another. This is when we're working with 6 different energies, right? Okay, it's not a traditional aspect. It can be a bit discombobulating, right? Imagine you've got 6 different energies trying to work together. Virgo, you are earth, mutable in nature and yin. Aries is cardinal, fire and yang. So we're getting these on the same page with one another. It's kind of like herding cats. I love an in conjunct when I, started going into astrology and realizing, it can be a bit difficult, right? Some crossed wires, some putting in a lot of work and not necessarily seeing results in the way that you would like them to straight off. As I said, that miscommunication, all of that kind of energy showing up. But once you realize, okay, there's 6 energies that don't traditionally really understand one another. Once you know that, then you can start to play with these energies and see where everything can work together. And when you figure out how to herd those cats, you are then thinking in a very innovative and very inventive way. I love the in conjunct. It brings in different patterns and different thoughts that are breaking against tradition, right? So it's allowing new pathways. It's like high-end mastery here. So this is what's happening with your Virgo energy, wherever that falls in your chart. We've got a big solar eclipse happening, a total solar eclipse. It's conjunct Chiron, like I said at the beginning of the video, by exact, not only degree, but by the minute. This is wild. This is really big energy. I'm loving this eclipse. The readings have been very similar in their nature. It's a sense of, oh, we've been working through some stuff and now we're heading towards liberation. So, right, I am pulling cards for 3 different piles. The first pile is the lead up to this eclipse. Everything you've been working on since that Aries full moon that wasn't actually an eclipse, even though it was in the same sign as the North Node. It was quite far away, so it didn't form a physical eclipse. Everything you've been integrating since then. There's that death card. I'm feeling really good vibes with that death card. It's not anything to be scared of. It is, in fact, again, that liberation through transformation. And I'll rewind. I'll try and remember what I'm about to say in a bit because I'm trying not to skip all over the place. Today, I'm recording this on Wednesday, which is Mercury's day. So Mercury's having a lot of influence. And right, where was I? So everything that you've been integrating over the last 6 months, this often... Oh, hello, Mercury, the ruler of your sign, Virgo. Everything you've been working on, integrating, often some shadow work can come up here. And this is, so the first house is, the first part is highlighting this, the path that you've been on, and also the energy that's showing up, the energy of you that is showing up, that's then going to be how that energy is working with this eclipse over the next 6 months. Pile 2 is the energy download that you're going to get at the time of the eclipse. So I see lunations as portals for downloads and activation codes. An eclipse is no different. In fact, it's bigger, transformative energy. I don't know why I'm quite doing that. And that this Mercury retrograde is wild. I've really noticed like the amount of times I've had to restart the video with the introduction. Lots of sort of kerfuffles like that. Feeling a bit drained today because of the Mercury retrograde compared to yesterday. But also really noticing that I've been doing lots of tiny little things differently, right? You know, those habits of like how you make your coffee, and we are very habitual. I've noticed with all the little things, like just doing things a little bit differently. And I've really been enjoying this sort of new reworking of the neural pathways. Virgo, right? I've done a Mercury retrograde series in the sign of Aries. It's linked into this eclipse. I'm bringing it up. You're ruled by Mercury. It's one of your rulers. So you might want to go check that out. Right, pile 2. So portals of energy downloads. So this is what the tarot is coming up for you in regards to the Virgo energy. Can't make it up. Hello, Virgo. So this is then will unfold over the next 6 months. The baseline for this energy is always the collective reading. That's always the first video that I put out. Love doing the collective readings. I get to expand a bit more on certain things as well. And that's where I pulled collective tarot cards. They pretty much wanted to use the whole of the deck, which was wild. Some really powerful, strong messages came out in that collective reading. I would recommend any of the signs go and check that out because we're dealing with an eclipse cycle and that can be big energy. I also, this is where I get to break down the astrology in way more detail of how all the celestial bodies, did we get a flipper? No. How all the celestial bodies are talking to each other at the exact moment of the eclipse. This forms an energetic harmonic blueprint that is then part of the collective. And that forms the baseline for pile 2. I also talk more esoterically about the journey that we've been on since the hybrid eclipse in Aries that we had last year, channeled messages, all that kind of thing. These oracle cards, I always pull them before doing a transit. They will be in their own separate reading, and that will follow after I've done this transit series. But basically, we've gone through some stuff. We're being empowered, and it's all about love. So pile 2 is the tarot relates into how this affects the Virgo area of your chart. Pile 3 is how all of this is going to manifest moving forwards with the embodiment of pile 2. Now we're dealing with eclipse energy. I talk more about what an eclipse is in the collective reading, as well as what an Aries eclipse is going to feel like. What does Aries mean? All of those things in way more detail in that collective reading. I will just say this is when the sun and the moon meet on both the vertical and the horizontal axis. So this is very powerful of bringing cosmic energy into the 3D realm. Eclipses are tied into longer cycles because we're not going to have the North Node in the sign of Aries for another 18, 19 years. So it's really in alignment with a longer term tapestry of energy. Source energy, right? Certain cogs going on behind the scenes that you might not be fully aware of. And sometimes abruptive things can happen because it's part of a bigger picture, as I said, that you don't have all the clues to. So this is big energy, right? Photosynthesis plummets around eclipses and takes a really long time to regroup itself. And this is when plants produce energy. So there's an element of this is a bigger energy that has a big impact on our 3D presence. Certain spiders pull down their webs before an eclipse happens because they don't want to weave that. There's an element of not wanting to weave that energy into their web. Everything that I'm going to say is with the prefix of you are a multidimensional, multifaceted, autonomous being. One of the things you are here to unravel and uncover is your own instinctive, intuitive responses to your co-creation with the universe. So I'm going to give a suggestion, but do what is right for you, do what is in attunement with you. So they used to hide the king, the monarch, with eclipses. Eclipses are one of the first things that we've tracked as a species. We understood that these were bigger energies. And for me, on a personal level, I don't plan anything, right? This is a new moon. This is usually when we set intentions. I don't plan any rituals. I don't plan any manifestation. I don't set any intentions. I don't try, so instead, what I let happen is I see what I'm intuitively, instinctively drawn to do around the eclipse energy. And that way I know I'm in co-creation with the eclipse energy rather than trying to control it. Because sometimes situations can crop up that you wouldn't have asked for, that would seem at the moment to be a bit disruptive and you don't really understand all the process. But then months down the line, you realize, oh, that led to this and that led to this and that led to that. And now I'm feeling more of a liberated soul. So there's an element of working together with this eclipse energy that has your highest good in mind. I would recommend there's an element of watch what you eat, rest well during an eclipse. So big energy here, showing up for us all, a sense of revelations. Now, where is this happening for you, Virgo rising? This is happening in your 8th house. Love the 8th house. It is the house of transformation, which is why I was laughing at the death card being very loud here. So there's a lot going on in the 8th house. It's linked into the outside world's resources. This can be mortgages, loans, insurance, taxes, and also bonuses and commissions. It's more sort of one-off chunks of money, as well as dealing with the resources from the outside world. It can be linked into inheritance, both 3D and cosmic inheritance. It is the house of transformation. And I see this very closely linked into the fact that for me, I see the 8th house as the give and receive between you and anything other than you, right? It is the relationship dynamics you have with anything other than yourself. Time, money, things, energy, intimacy. And this is not only on the 3D plane, it is a very psychic, very magical house. I mention every time Edgar Cayce, a very, very famous psychic, had a stellium up in the 8th house, and that means 3 or more planets. And was very able to utilize the resources of the spiritual, of the source energy. So big shifts here around relationship dynamics, around your understanding of resources. We can have a lot of codependency in the 8th house. We can have scarcity complexes of not getting the resources that we need, not having the relationship dynamics that serve us, giving all the time or taking all the time. We can have a lot of imbalance here. Now, let's get into the astrology. So, Chiron is here. Chiron's been in Aries for a while, bringing up wounds around relationship dynamics and allowing you to find the wisdom with them, right? Chiron is very heavily linked into past life energy that we are here to then heal in this lifetime. That can be linked into the ancestors as well. And so in the natal chart and by transit, we go through this process. Chiron was the master healer, the wounded warrior. I talk about the mythology linked into Chiron in the collective reading, and it's quite powerful. So as I said, I do recommend it. I love the collective readings. I think they're so much fun. And so Chiron here is exactly conjunct the sun and the moon. It is being rebirthed, right? So you might find that a lot of wounds have been coming up to the surface in the lead up to this eclipse, all in order to re-acclimatize to the wisdom, right? We're not focusing so much on the wound, but the wisdom that comes from it. Not so much the venom, but the antidote. Clearing away blockages that have stopped sort of old patterns, old remixes. Old cycles of relationship dynamics, of scarcity that have stopped you from being able to embody your unique self as that very fiery Aries energy. It likes to experience life through its own understanding. Could have had an element of the combative nature with relationship dynamics. There could be an element of fostering independence that is contrary and not being able to seek help or ask for help. It's a very instinctive sign. So you might find you might find that you're getting an elevation of your instincts around your connections, your relationship connections. And so what I feel that this eclipse is doing is helping us, and as it's Mercury retrograde is very much in alignment with this, is we're recalibrating to a deeper understanding instinctively with our spark of spirit, right? Spirit, fire energy in the esoteric tradition is very much linked into spirit, source energy, soul energy. So we're activating a new alignment through our instinctive responses and intuition through our instincts that is bringing us into an alignment with relationship dynamics that serve our soul, breaking out of the confines so you can go and explore the world. The hero, the fool's journey, whether that's on the 3D plane or the multidimensional plane. An empowerment with your connection with source and the relationship dynamics that's allowing and creating space for you to be autonomous and sovereign. Now, Mercury. Mercury sorry, my brain always goes a bit squiffy when they're doing things with the deck that way. I'm so used to shuffling for jumpers, and when they start like playing around and cutting the deck and getting cards out, my brain's just like, I have to shut it off partly, so I just let it happen. Right, so Chiron is elevating our understanding of becoming the master teacher, of the wounds within our soul. Mercury is retrograde at the time of this eclipse. And so what I like with the Mercury retrograde for this is that Mercury's going back and forth over the same degree. So there's an element of non-linear thinking. Of Mercury being able to, behind the scenes, right, bringing depth and nuance of our past, our present, present and our future, and interlinking them all through our instincts of the best way to respond. That are beyond the old cycles, right? Of breaking out of those cycles. Where we may recreate conflict, we may recreate drama. Or that heightened, contrary, independent energy. Being more receptive. So that Mercury retrograde is allowing more pathways to come in that come from a very instinctive space that's incorporating the many soul journeys into one. Of easing with that Chiron energy, of a balm of old wounds. Resentments, frustrations. Just thinking of like an eye for an eye energy, that revenge thing of like, you did this to this and I'm going to come at you for that, right? And a lot of resentment, a lot of build up can happen in the 8th house, especially if like you're giving too much and you find like you're not getting that back. We can then sort of want to withhold. As I said, the way through is love. And I know that might sound like a bit of a platitude, but honestly it really is, of moving away from observing and expecting the same again and again and again and again and again. Now, this moon, this eclipse, is squaring Ceres, which is an asteroid, the biggest asteroid in the asteroid belt. She represents the grain goddess, the earth mother energy, the harvest, abundance, nurturing and nourishment. And she's over in the sign of Capricorn, which for you, Virgo rising, is in your 5th house of your creation energy, the house of joy. This is where our pleasure is, right? In any area of our life. Our amusement, games, play, children, both literal children, children that are yours, children you work with, your inner child. Feel like there's some healing going on here. As well as things you birth into the world from a creative place that feel like your children. It is also the house of romance and dating, the sort of the beginnings of love, right? Now, Ceres is in this sign. She can highlight where there isn't nourishment, where there isn't abundance, in order for you to realize that that is an illusion, for then her to bring in that abundance, that sense of nourishment and nurturing. Of the harvest coming in. And this is squaring this eclipse. It's one of the few aspects that are happening other than all of these conjunctions. And remember, the eclipse is the north node, where it's where we're headed, what we're striving for, right? It exaggerates this energy quite loudly. Speaking of which, I've done a nodal transit series. I did this when the nodes moved into Libra and Aries, that was covering the whole cycle, the whole 18-month cycle. And so in that Virgo reading, I would have talked about the North Node in Aries, the South Node in Libra, and the houses in way more detail. So you might want to go check that out, and that'll give you the overall themes of this transit. I also, in the introductions, talk generally about North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra, and how the nodes work together, because they are in a feedback loop between one another. Right, what was I saying? So this is squaring this eclipse. A square is an aspect of Mars. So it can bring about conflict, drama, frustration, winning at all costs. And it feels like if these are bubbling up, these are helping you navigate what these mean to you. And it can be old paradigms popping up around this eclipse. And if these are, just bear in mind, these are being released and transformed. So again, it could be that square of perhaps giving, right? Of perhaps giving your creativity to others, right? Of finding the love and the joy and giving that to others, and not necessarily it being reciprocated. But overall, with this square, it's about manifestation and building. And what I feel with this is Ceres is bringing in deep nourishment from the mountains, like very powerful earth energy to like essentially vibrate through you of a reconnection to your creativity, your pleasure, your joy, any wounds around romance and creativity, right, from your inner child that have then recreated relationship dynamics based on what the inner child understands. Itali madoitini in that 8th house. Ceres with this square is manifesting a new sense of nourishment and abundance that's more in alignment with your soul's frequency of how to receive and how to give. Really building, right? Okay, if we think about the resources side of it, of Ceres is activating a powerhouse of your creation energy that's then going to draw towards it and build with this new dynamic of abundance. I can already see that in the cards, wherever they may end up. So powerful stuff. Now let's get into the rulership. So whoever rules the sign is influencing the sign that it rules. Mars rules Aries, so we want to look to where Mars is because it's influencing this eclipse, and Mars is over in the sign of Pisces, opposite your sign, Virgo. And for Virgo rising, this is the 7th house of the other, right? This is business partners, intimate friends, one-to-one clients, people you work with on a one-to-one basis, long-term committed romantic relationships, because this house is linked into contracts and therefore marriage, because it's this honoring of the self and the other and standing with integrity on both sides of the same coin. It's also source. These are the intimate relationships. The dynamics show up in the 8th. Mars is moving through the 7th. And in the sign of Pisces, I love Mars in Pisces. It's so it just brings me a lot of joy. We are more in alignment with flow. We are more in alignment with source, with the synchronicities, with the magic of the universe. Our motivations, our drives, our instincts are in alignment with that. There's a real sense of, so Pisces is the ocean, right? There's sort of the undulating ocean, and that brings the flow. It is very sort of spiritual in nature because it understands the duality. It understands the light and the dark and how all rivers lead to the same ocean, like the all in the one. Very dreamlike, very psychic, very synchronistic. And so Mars being here is bringing you more into flow with your actions of how you relate to the other, right? Of you may have been taking actions to facilitate your inner strength in relationship to the other, right? The 7th house I often find is a place where we find to understand ourselves. It's how what we want to show up and how the other shows up as well. It's also source energy. So Mars is being the spiritual warrior over in the sign of Pisces. You've got more connections to how you're connecting to the other, right? Through your drive, through your motivation. What are you building here? But overall, Mars is influencing this eclipse from the point of, okay, let's make sure that we're manifesting, we're building, we're taking action around a new dynamic that is that's being influenced by the other and the strength of those one-to-one relationships. You might just find yourself, you're more in alignment with source with Mars being in the 7th. Mars is going to be coming into conjunction with Saturn. Now, this happens once every 2 years. I've put in the description box the details of the eclipse, as well as some key dates around the eclipse, and that conjunction is one of them. The last time it happened was in the sign of Aquarius. So we've got a different vibe here. Mars is being regenerated by Saturn, and Saturn is receiving the influence of Mars. So Mars, you're more in alignment with your intuition in your actions. You're bringing more flow, more connection to source. There's just, as I said, the spiritual warrior of it all. And Saturn can be a bit of a difficult planet. These two are the two malefics, right, by traditional astrology. But I'm going to focus on how I see this come up and the vibrational frequency that I feel very strongly. Saturn is linked into karma, cause and effect, acknowledging cause and effect, and how we walk with integrity in relationship to that through our observant, our maturity, our responsibility, our due diligence. It's helping us connect to our integrity and our commitment to our legacy, right? Saturn is a long-term legacy planet. There's a maturity to Saturn. And so we get a leveling up with this Mars-Saturn conjunction of Mars, which can be a bit brash, a bit combative, getting the maturity and the wisdom from Saturn, who's in Pisces. So it's giving structure to the magic of what those relationships mean to you and how they're showing up. Drawing towards you a more mature relationship. Now, there's an element of your instincts being in alignment with cause and effect and your legacy. So therefore, your movement through the world, Mars, is going to be in alignment with understanding your legacy and therefore not repeating the old cycles, right? Seeing cause and effect in your being. And this is all influencing the 8th house. So this is going to get heightened intuition around your relationship with others, right? Whether that's groups, the outside world, or on a one-to-one basis. But there is the focus on the one-to-one basis here with Mars being in the 7th of your actions being in alignment with a longer term desire beyond the trauma responses and limiting beliefs that you may have received as a child, that we then recreate, those distorted love languages. And love isn't just about that's far too much. Love isn't just about romance. It's in every dynamic. That you're being strengthened here of not getting distorted by the dynamics that would have potentially have kicked you off in the past. Of just allowing them to move past you, because your Mars is guiding you towards where you need to be and how you embody yourself. In alignment with this regeneration, this activation of a new cycle of you connecting to your soul. Right, so Mars is in Jupiter's sign, right? So Jupiter traditionally rules Pisces, so Jupiter is influencing Mars. Now, where's Jupiter? Jupiter's over in the sign of Taurus, trining your Virgo energy. So Virgo, of all the signs, I have to say, you are getting a grand earth trine. Because we've got Jupiter over in Taurus, we've got Ceres over in Capricorn, and then you've got whatever's going on in the sign of Virgo. This is forming a grand earth trine, which is bringing in wisdom and stability in the material world. Grounding this into your being. So Jupiter is in the 9th house of your perspectives, your morals, your ethics, your philosophies, connection to book religion, spirituality, nature, science. These bigger matrices that we are a part of, and we're figuring out that. We're figuring out who we are in society, the universe, all those things, these big questions, and these understandings that we get from questioning what's around us and how we want to move through the world. It's also linked into sort of foreign travel, because it's about broadening your perspectives, teaching and learning, more mastery, in order to share those perspectives, not try and over influence, but sharing is caring. Jupiter there, I love a Jupiter in the 9th house transit, because there's an embodiment of confidence, right? Jupiter brings things together in order to elevate and bring wisdom and a sense of knowing, and with that knowing comes confidence, and that's when the ease, the flow comes in of you feeling better about yourself in relationship to your existence. Jupiter is influencing Mars and Saturn, of saying, hey, the other needs to understand and be in harmony with the ninth, ito, of your perspectives, right? Of how you see the world. Doesn't mean that they have to agree on everything in your life, like the way that you see the world, but there's an element of collaboration, of understanding, of sharing. You don't have to agree, as I said, but the capacity to share that, and also bringing in relationships that are in alignment with how you move through the world. So you're then really enhancing each other's collaborational energy. So this is influencing Mars and therefore influencing the 8th house. A realignment of you knowing the truth of who you are in this universe is then going to give you more confidence in the 8th house of there is no scarcity, there is no fear, there is no out of balance. I am complete, I am one, I am embodied. Itu fa cha na oti otu iti acha acha iti ni ma huchi ni atu fa hutini. Ooh, that was a big channel come through. Yeah, I like that. Now, who rules Taurus? That's Venus. So Venus is influencing what's going on with Jupiter. Where's Venus? Well, she's in Aries. I love Venus in Aries. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. This is a very empowered, fiery, feisty, magnetic Venus. She's connecting. She brings charm, grace, diplomacy, appreciation, value, love, Italia, la 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 la. Not had this before. La 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 la. All right, guys, I'm going to continue. Love this for us all, right? Because Venus is a benefic. Jupiter's a benefic. Venus is not only influencing Mars by rulership, but is influencing this eclipse by being in the sign of Aries. She's bringing in the charm, even though she wants to champion all of her loved ones, right? Very sort of, I'm gonna protect everybody. I'm standing up for everybody's rights. Very like wanting to champion and bring appreciation to the independent spirit of Aries. Very magnetic. So she's bringing this into the 8th house of the dynamic that's coming through, this reconnection to the essence of your soul in relationship to abundance and a flow of energy in the 8th. Venus is allowing whatever might have been quite a fiery, very contrary, independent, explosive energy of Aries is just bringing the charm factor in. And Venus in the 8th can help you just have a bit more feel-good feeling about you and anything other than yourself. So this is being imprinted into. Don't know what's happening here. Into. They rarely do English words. Into. Do excuse me, Virgo. I'm keeping this flow going. Into. This is weird. I'm loving it. Into how long is this going to go for? Into chi ni ma chia na mo tu tia le ma tia le ma hu ti ni a tia na ho chi ni ma I tia le a tu I tia ni ma hu tu I tia le a tu shi ni I tia na ma I da I na ma tu shi ne e ta la tu fi shi ni a I shi la ma tu ni a ta le ma hu tu. That's really interesting. Into. It's like it's highlighting the separation. I kept expecting them to then say into one. You know, of really acknowledging that we are all connected and that there is so much abundance. What was I talking about before? Venus. Right, so Venus is smoothing this very, very fiery eclipse, and really you can often find more creativity coming through, working with other people, a more harmonious dynamic that's in alignment with you both being individuals. Now Mars rules Aries, so obviously Mars is influencing Venus, so it's then bringing back into the 7th house, right? Is influencing of saying, hey, what's going on with you, Venus? Got to be in alignment with what's going on in the 7th, which is a recalibration of the other, and how the other shows up. Now, what I really love about this is that Saturn and Mars, the two malefics, collectively, you're going to see that be way more explosive on the main stage. There may be things that come up in your life that link into the fact that we've got two of the difficult planets that aren't all hugs and kisses showing up together, right? I don't really see it that way very strongly in terms on the individual level, but there may be things that show up that can be disruptive, that may be that may be just highlighting old dynamics that aren't serving you anymore in regards to what the other is doing. But whatever is going on with Saturn and Mars, it's in the sign of Pisces, which is the greater benefic, which is in the sign of Taurus, which is Venus, the other benefic. So we've got the two benefics impacting and affecting what's going on with Saturn and Mars. And they are in yin signs. They're in very positive, beautiful yin energy. So they are being nourished and nurtured. There's an element of depth that's coming in, that's allowing support for this rebirth of this Aries eclipse. We've got we've got this lovely formation. I really do like it, and I think it's very, very supportive. Not the 10, King of Wands on the bottom of the deck with the 8 of Cups. Goodness me, I did wonder where that was going to show up, because this is showing up for everybody. What else did I want to say? Was that it? Yeah, you've got a lot of support, and especially with that grand earth trine, where you're getting a lot of wisdom about how to embody this and this new dynamic with this not necessarily a reboot, but certainly a collaboration with your soul. Right, okay. Look to where your sun and your moon are in your natal chart. Look to the houses that they're in and the themes of those houses. Those themes are likely to crop up with this eclipse energy. With a new moon, I'd say incorporate those themes into your intentions, because they always get activated with every lunation. Do what's right for you, but just be mindful that these things are cropping up anyway. As I said at the beginning, I like to co-collaborate rather than trying to control it. But as I said, do whatever is right for you. If you've worked with eclipse energy before, great. But there's a real, so that will add on a personal layer of understanding how this shows up for you. You may have already experienced these things. The eclipse window is quite wide. They may come after the eclipse. So just bear that in mind when this will add on a personal level beyond this general reading. Right, I'm going to go consciously quiet. I feel a little bit odd with that channeling coming out. I don't think it's finished, but I'm so mindful of your time and your energy that perhaps you don't want another 45 minutes of channeling come through. So Yeah, I'm going to soften my mind. The energies are going to move through me. They are going to move the cards around. They're going to do some energy work and put them into the 3 piles. And that's when I'll bring the tarot into the astrology. I call you to soften your mind as well. You just had so much information. Let that all settle. Don't try and overthink it. And then see what intuitive hits come up for you as we do this bit of channeling. Itu ishat ina. Doitala ma otiala. Otiala. Shiama otumat. These are both showing up for pretty much everybody. Shiala. They're just doing some work on the Venusian Galactic Council card. I put that card back when I was shuffling these cards and it came flying out. Italia. Iala. Iala. Ducineala. Dushiala. Dialia tufini. Diala. They're doing this different to how they did for everybody else, Virgo. What's going on with you, Virgo? Dishini tini. Diala. Ituila. Tutini. Luchana. Huchana. Yushayele. Yala. 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 Hello. Dishini. Yala. Shini. Shini. Yala. Can you see all of that? I don't think you can. There we go. Tishala. Tishini. Okay, so it's kind of summarizing. This one's quite. I've been trying to make a point of quickly summarizing what's come through when they do this, but they've. It's quite a whoa, but definitely sort of reconfirming what I've said about moving away from sort of discordian energy. This has been a very consistent thing with all of the readings, coming into a space of empowerment that's actually bringing more flow from the root of your intuition. Right, there's a sense of faith coming in. Italia with that Mars in Pisces, man. Jupiter's all about faith. Italia there's a opening up some vitality and some options of working with others. Italiana, that it's an alignment with your journey. And all of this is about reconnecting to your own value. Where Libra is. Because they put this over the head, right? Aries rules the head. Just sort of shaking the head right now. They're bringing in the intuition from the High Priestess and the Queen of Cups into the head of the 9 of Pentacles. Over the monarch of that which has had an authority over you no more. Bringing the royalty into you. The King of Cups. They haven't done this with anybody. And your ability to embody this as you move forward. Where the resources are all in your head. And how the limitations around. It feels like there's been some resources in your mind that have been blocked. Or certainly the mindset around resources. I feel like it's both, to be honest. All bringing in some galactic healing energy. In the embodiment. Realigning with your moon, your intuition, your needs being met, your nourishment being met. How you move through the world. Ita. Whoa, I've not done that before. That was cool. Ita. 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 Oot, 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 oshini. Oela. Ohile mahoto fiela. Itiala. Itiala. O to 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 to. Dalama. Oh, tiene. Oh, tiene. Ita. Ita. Niama. Oh, tiene. Me too, finjana mahuti alia. Wela, thinking differently. Dushi ale mahutu tu. Iti ale. Dufini ma eti ala. Ishala uini atu fani. Iti ama hutu. Iti ni ata cha chini mahutu tiane. Ala ela. Ile iti na mo Iatania chani mo tuna. Iatana. Ito vita lima tina ma chu shala. Itina ela. Iala titini ma tiana. Iata fufene. Tu fufini atini ma hu. Ishaniala. Within my tin. Ella. Tisinamo shini atana utene. Iato iti. Nitiala. Otiala. Ishini. Ishini otiala. Iala da dani me tutuni. Otiana. They've put this so this came from a friend from South America. Oh, let me move this up while I talk about that. You don't see that. Sorry, forgot. So this came from a friend from South America, from a village that is supposedly entirely inhabited by witches. I use it to sort of cleanse and heal and bring connections. And this is the card that says transform your life. Don't take anything personally. Well, Virgo, are we all in alignment here? Is everything good? Yes. Right, Virgo. Let's crack on. So this is the lead up to this eclipse, everything that you've been working on over the last 6 months and what your energy is showing up with in regards to this eclipse cycle. 5 of Wands, the Devil, the 3 of Swords, the Death card, the 8 of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, 6 of Swords, Queen of Cups, King of Cups. As I said, very similar themes to all of the signs. I'm not surprised. This is bigger energy than it's like a collective energy, isn't it? So the 5 of Wands, this is frustration, right? Movement, but no momentum, like lots of things going on, but nothing quite manifesting. There is an element of competition here. There's an element of maybe there's only one winner, a sense of scarcity. It's very kind of chaotic energy. This can be like it's not as harsh as the 5 of Swords, but it could be just dynamics always being a bit of a battle. And it's come with the Devil. So this is Capricorn energy over where Ceres is. So this could link into your creation energy, your joy, your pleasure. They're just sort of moving it over the throat chakra. Or just in general, blockages around that, old patterns, old restrictions, old love languages of falling into the same cycle over and over again. 5th house is also about addiction. You know, our inner child seeking out comfort if it didn't receive it. Again, recreating of those love languages in every sphere. 3 of Swords, the heartbreak, the grief when it comes to dynamics not necessarily showing up in the way that we would like them to. Again, this can be, right, so often the bullies were bullied, right? So when you take too much, Was it that you never had enough as a kid? All these sorts of things. There's no judgment in what I'm saying whatsoever. We have the capacity of being all of these things. We've been all of these things in many lifetimes. But there is this element of grief that's shown up over the last 6 months, where you've been navigating these frequencies. You've been being observing of, like, how do I respond to the relationships? How do I respond in dynamics, the resources? Do I have a scarcity mindset? Do I have this pain in my heart that means I keep repeating things? Because then we've got the Death card, which is acknowledging that you've gone, there are these things that I need to let go of. You see here, the monarch is no more. This represents things that have had an authority over you falling away because you've made the decision to get on that horse and go and transform yourself. To the sun that is rising. It's come with the 8 of Cups. As I said, this card has shown up. I think it's for everybody so far. I've got 4 more readings to do. This is Saturn in Pisces, and it's shown up here collectively, consistently, even. Began as a C. Oh, chin. It's the only card with an eclipse on it. This is all about unconscious responses. For me, this is how I read the card. Those unconscious responses that are in our that are really grooved into our being, right, from very early years, that are mimicking the patterns of our birth chart, that come from our past life energy. And these can be so instinctive that we might not even notice them, and they feel very comfortable to us because it's all we've ever experienced. And so this is the element of, like, the cup being upright, right? It can feel good because it's familiar and because it's comfortable, but this is then going, no, I'm gonna make the effort to go on a bit of a difficult journey to get a new perspective, right? It takes a while to retrain the unconscious spaces, especially if those grooves are really deep in the neural pathways, in the synapses. But this is saying that you know what you need to let go of, and you've taken the time to go and climb that mountain and get a higher perspective beyond the cycles. Comes with the Knight of Pentacles. This is the best card to have for doing this kind of work, right? Because some of us can click our fingers and the mind is just like, oh, that never existed. But a lot of us, it requires daily practice. And this card is all about that. This is, right, stability, loyalty. It's going to take time. It's about that practical, committed earth energy. They're oak leaves representing courage and wisdom. Itufa. You're going to get where you need to go. And it is about that daily practice. And you see here, this knight has cleared the field in preparation for this new eclipse energy. 6 of Swords. This is honoring and acknowledging that you are in a bit of a limbo phase, as are we all. This card has shown up quite a lot here. I think this is out of all the readings, usually there's like one card that will show up the most throughout all of the readings. So far, there's been quite a few that keep showing up. See these rocky waves. These represent moving away from turbulent waters. You're heading towards the calmer realm. You can see the shoreline, but you're not there yet. You are taking with you that which you have learned will serve you in a place of thriving rather than survival, a place of calm, of peace, of inner sanctuary, rather than the chaos and the conflict and the disruption. Again, it's these perspectives, limitations, blockages, that you are taking that which you know truly in your soul, because you've taken the dedication and the time to understand what that means to you, into the new landscape. With the Queen of Swords, you've spent time nourishing these. Queens are very yin in nature. They observe, they strategize, they bring depth and nuance. Without the queens, the kings cannot make their sovereign action. Without the wisdom of the court cards, the sword court cards have birds on them, and the queen has one above her crown chakra. She's acknowledging that sometimes you've got to go through some difficult periods, before your head can come out and you can get the perspective. And she's nourishing these new perspectives, right? She's observing. Her hand is open to receive a new dynamic. Italia do a new frequency. Atui shali atali matui la matui tiali. Itile madufi. Her crown is made of butterflies. On the throne of the King of Swords, there are butterflies. And this represents going through a metamorphosis and coming out the other side with a new vision. Itali maotu shiatila. Itila dofana. And then this is what I feel like your energy is showing up for how you're going to work with this eclipse cycle, right? Queen of Cups, King of Cups. This is about balance. This is about receptivity, a harmonious, intuitive give and receive. Right? There's the High Priestess. I think she's shown up in this reading as well. It's pretty much shown up in every reading, acknowledging that this recalibration with our understanding of that spark of spirit, right? Our soul's energy, especially with the Mercury retrograde as well. Italia Dolfini, that we are recalibrating to our innate inner intuition that comes from a source energy. Italia, especially with that Mars in Pisces energy and Saturn being there as well. Italia, and our instinctive responses being in alignment. Itoishini, Dolfini, that we are then more confident, that faith, that wisdom, that we are drawing towards us that which serves us. And you've got a precursor to the High Priestess. You've got the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. These are both very serene kings and queens. Her foot is turning into the ocean. She is able to see far and wide, and she is not in fear. She is serene. There's a deep nourishment to your intuition, to your emotional body, to that ebb and flow, your needs being met. A real tenderness and a serenity. And then we've got the King of Cups, and this is all about emotional control. That it's learnt from the Queen, who's able to observe far and wide with their intuition. Itufa, that's giving the king the confidence to basically sit on a stone throne on the ocean and not worry about drowning. It's that kind of delusion that we have to embody. But this is very psychic energy, very synchronistic, very intuitive. And so for the eighth house of which is very magical, this is saying you are really receptive to the download. So there's a real sense of heightened connection to source and your receptivity to bring that in and then take action on it, right? You are open, you are emotionally open, but in control to what's going to unfold. Okay, now you got half the deck. Okay. So what have we got going on here? This is the energy download for the eclipse and how that will this will unfold over the next 6 months. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. This is Jupiter, Seven of Swords, thinking differently, bringing in peace, an elevation, and ascension energy. The Fool, beginning a new journey based on this new framework. The Hermit, this is you bringing your inner wisdom, your inner I don't really care about what anybody else thinks about me energy. The High Priestess, again, inherently in tune with knowing that you are drawing that towards you, which serves your needs and your nourishment. That you are going to be accessing the resources that you're able to manifest in the world. Seven of Wands. A reversal of a lack of inner value, right? This is knowing your own value and not feeling like you're in competition mode with the rest of the world, and therefore connecting to a sense of completeness, a sense of satedness that then is then going to be matched by the universe. Nine of Pentacles, love this, very independent. Five of Pentacles in reverse, moving away from scarcity. Six of Pentacles, a rebalancing, a realignment with source, and receiving energy and resources, right? A new framework of receiving, and then the Three of Pentacles of collaboration. Okay, so Jupiter, the Wheel of Fortune. This is the embodiment of Jupiterian energy, a sense of faith, of knowing that the wheel is turning upright, right? Rather than the fear, the worry, the anxiety, the scarcity complexes. There is fated stuff going on that's bringing this into realignment, as well as your energy is being infused with Jupiter, remember, over in the ninth house, that is helping you feel more confident about your understanding of the give and receive between you and anything other than yourself. You're bringing in a new way of thinking, a new paradigm beyond the five of swords. This is all about thinking peace. This figure is stealing away the five of swords. This is bringing in a deeper intuition around peace and the paradigm of how you connect to others. Resurrection of old wounds, ancestral energy. They are grey, which represents wisdom. The angelic frequency is raising them up. Old blockages, old wounds within you that are either your own experience and or linked into ancestral work. There's a sense of ascension of, again, moving from the wound to the wisdom. An ascension of good judgment. Of how you view the universe and the world and the resources within it. Good judgment with the people that you interact with so you don't fall into the old cycles. But overall, this is a sense of ascension of the frequency of give and exchange, or give and receive. The Fool, the heart-opening journey of the Fool. Right? Rather than being jaded, rather than feeling like, oh, I haven't got back what I've given, or I want to take everything, blah, blah, you know, whatever dynamic shows up that you resonate with in terms of the exchange with others. The Fool is heart open. It is curious and open to the world that it's about to go and explore again. So a new understanding of how you then explore the world, and what you and how you connect to anything other than yourself. Fool shown up for quite not all of the signs, but most of them. A new opportunity, a new renewal of your understanding of resources, of your understanding of giving and exchanging. You receiving. Remember, you are receiving. Opportunities coming in. Renewal in the material plane. The Hermit. The Hermit isn't hanging out in the city. It isn't bothered about how to conform. It's gone to the top of a mountain. It's hanging out by itself. And what this represents, this is your card, Virgo, right? The inner wisdom of not allowing the distortions from the outside world to impact who you are. And I feel, because this is your card, Virgo, that your wisdom, your hermit energy, is going to be received by the outside world. To help, and it's also in the first house, which is your rising sign. The embodiment of self. This is bringing in a deeper wisdom of your own embodiment that isn't affected by distortions. The High Priestess. As I said, reconnecting to your intuition. This is the Moon's card. The Moon represents our intuition, our emotional body, how our needs being met, and how do we meet the needs of others, nourishment, both internally and externally. She is drawing towards her that which serves all of that. Again, this is the innate faith, the confidence, the knowing within you that you are drawing towards you everything that you need. You are in thrival mode rather than surviving mode. Being very intuitive about where to go and how to interact, and also being an intuitive around the needs of others, both collectively, right? And perhaps receiving that intuition from others as well. Heightened intuition around source. The Magician. You got the High Priestess and the Magician together. I think are you the only so far? No, Emperor. Okay, interesting. So the Magician, this is Mercury, this is one of your rulers. Through all of this is the ability, like the Magician understands the resources around it and how to manifest and bring magic into the world. So this is you having more confidence within yourself, of drawing towards you that which you need in order to manifest. The High Priestess and the Magician, they are a pair. So there's an element of honoring the yin and the yang of it all, right? Not gender specific, that the dynamics, there's a level of equality and respect. Seven of Wands in reverse, as I said, upright. They're on the higher ground. They have something of value, but do they know it? They look very, very unsteady. They're in competition mode. They think, well, I've done a thing. Everybody else does a similar thing to me. Therefore, there's scarcity. Therefore, I've got to fight for my place on this hill. Itali Maduine. It's in reverse. This, for me, is one of the key cards of what we're working through as a species. In reverse is like, now you've changed perspective. You understand your own value, which is then helping and navigate any of those distortions that may have been about a lack of self-worth. Nine of Pentacles, right? This energy, very independent, knows what decisions to make in order to bring about abundance into their lives. Very capable of saying no, very capable of saying like, not right now, I've got this thing I need to prioritize. And all of this is cultivating a sense of abundance. So again, this is like, I feel this is like one of the key cards of you truly knowing your place in the universe, Jupiter over in the seventh, not self-sacrificing in relationships, that's allowing to then bring in more abundance and more liberation energy around bringing in the abundance, whether it's on the material plane. It is Pentacles, so it is material, but it could be just you feeling very confident about how you respond and interact with the outside world. Speaking of liberation, I forgot to mention it, or maybe I did already, and I apologize if I did. Uranus and Jupiter are coming into a conjunction. They're very close to it. The exact conjunction will happen on the 20th. But it's still very much an influence. Uranus and Jupiter, that will be the next transit series that I do. Uranus is very much the liberator. So that is influencing all of this. We are being cracked open and our soul is being liberated. But with the wisdom of Jupiter and the support of Ceres, because they're trining each other, of abundance and nurturing and nourishment. There's all feeding back into your first house, Virgo. This is in fact Venus in Virgo. And I always like the fact that, yes, it's Venus in Virgo, but kind of looks like the Mars symbol as well. So it's through our actions we embody this energy. Five of Pentacles in reverse with the Six of Pentacles upright, and then the Three of Pentacles at the top. Lots and lots of Pentacles. We got 3, 6, 9. This is scarcity. This often shows up in an 8th house transit. Feeling left out in the cold, not feeling supported, right? A real sense of isolation from the resources, from the giving and the receiving, like completely shut out. This is in reverse. You're moving out of the fear mindset into the not survival, the thriving mindset. So a rebalance coming in, and this feels like this is activating a cycle of receiving. Whether that's on the 3D plane, I often see this as like our higher selves or the cosmos coming in and helping us out. But it's rather than the give. This is bringing in an element of rebalancing. We've got the Three of Pentacles closing this off. This is mastery of self, and when we master ourselves, we bring in collaboration, right? So you bring in frequencies that, whether it's in people or energetically, that have other things, they have other qualities that then support what you're doing to create something beautiful and long lasting. So there's an element of mastery and collaboration, but I really like that showing up as the final card for the energy of this eclipse in regards to the give and receive, right? The exchange, the resources. There's a real sense of receptivity coming in, and that it's going both ways. It's not all about taking everything and receiving everything. There's an acknowledgement that it is a flow, and then when we are capable of building something long lasting, that's the best way to operate. Remember that King of Wands and the Queen of Wands hanging out here. Whoa, Hierophant. This is Jupiter energy. So you got the King and Queen of Cups, King and Queen of Wands, of being like the confidence, right? The confidence of embodiment of this new frequency. Really like that, and being able to take instinctive actions around this, right? The King of Wands looks like he's about to jump off. Is very, very sort of wanting to move. There's movement here. How this energy is manifesting moving forwards. Ace of Cups, the Chariot, Knight of Wands, the Sun, 10 of Cups, 3 of Cups, 2 of Cups, the Star. Whoa. So we had Pentacles, then we've got Cups. That's wild. I love that. So there's a real sense of this energy coming in is about building, is about manifesting, and what it's bringing in is emotional flow, emotional contentment. Itali ma doishini, love. Itala ma doitini, ela. Ace of Cups. Right, so there's a sense of overflow. There's this a sense of peace, a sense of abundance, both on an emotional level, an intuitive level, and this sense of flow. With the Chariot. The Chariot is all, I love this for the 8th. The Chariot is about understanding every experience you've ever had is a resource, right? That has helped get you to this point now. And that when you're in flow with that, when you're at peace with that, that's when the innate confidence and the victory comes in. This figure is moving through the world without trying to control it, right? No reins. They're in balance, the yin and the yang. They have the capacity of working with the 3D and the 5D, and it's taking them to a place of victory. So for some of you, this is going to be more movement out in the world, or just generally moving through that 8th house, right? That sense of the give and receive, as well as actually physically in the world with more confidence within yourself, probably bringing up some more opportunities. Come with the Knight of Wands. This is about the embodiment of all of this. Again, another movement card. So some of you, this could really be about moving around, being more active, having more opportunities. And it is the embodiment of all this Aries energy, that you're now protected. You're moving through the world protected. You're not getting distorted by, that hermit energy, by the outside world. You're still remaining within your own power. The Sun. Visibility, vitality, freedom of movement, joy, a sense of life, right? The inner child here being liberated, those distorted love languages not having a hold over us. So there's a sense of perhaps you being more visible in these dynamics than you were before. A sense of freedom, with more opportunities, more freedom to move through the world. Because perhaps resources have been building up and you've been able to work with them, and then you're creating with them, you're finding joy with it. 10 of Cups. Beautiful card. This represents the 9 of Cups outwardly expressed. So through your inner space of gratitude and abundance, remember I said you are complete, you are sated, then you draw towards you things that match that energy of abundance. That this is that energy then reverberating in your outside world. So for some of you, this is about a healthier relationship dynamic that's leading to a level of commitment. Perhaps with source, perhaps with a romantic partner, business partner, all of those kind of things. This just represents an external sense of emotional alignment. But it's through this internal understanding of self, right? That isn't getting distorted by the outside world, that sense of peace within you is then getting recreated out in the world. 3 of Cups, 2 of Cups, the Star. More flow, more alignment, celebrations, being recognized, being supported, being valued. A sense of abundance in relationship dynamics, a sense of love and appreciation. Things that are a cause for celebration. 2 of Cups. Okay, so there's a real sense with this can be very much a love relationship that's come in, that is more about honoring with respect and dignity, right? So for some of you, that may be the case. I don't like to focus on it because not everybody's looking for it. And I would always say, bring this energy into yourself. And then it will unfold in the way that it's supposed to. So this is about the masculine, feminine, and spirit being in alignment. They are eye to eye. They respect and honor one another. There is dignity here. They are meeting each other. They are sharing these cups. There isn't one taking and one giving. They are both giving and taking at the same time. My brain was just like, what am I saying? There's the caduceus, the 2 snakes. It represents the kundalini energy as well as deep healing. So this is highlighting that this journey that you're going on is bringing you into an alignment with any relationship dynamic, right? that is in alignment because you've integrated yourself. It's not about seeking things from the external, but understanding the confidence you have within you. Itu fala dinama utu tu 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 ashania. The star, right? This is about hopes and dreams, about being seen in your own stardom. Itu fale mautu shiana moduini ala di shale moduini ala moduini. So a real sense of, because of this shift, right, because of this transformation, you're able to hope and dream in ways that may have been limited before, and that can be in any area. Ituli, got harmony, bridges, joy. Itali modofa, bringing in a level of harmony within yourself that's then reflected out into the world. So people are able to see that galactic energy within you, see that star energy within you. Aquarius is the way that you work, right? Right, it's the 6th house, and your physical health and routine. So I could see like an activation, a collaboration in work. That is bringing in like big manifestation. We've got well-being, awareness, so aware of your needs, and not taking those things personally if you're not getting them, right? Not letting that build up of resentment. We've got the Hanged Man, crossroads, transitions, turning points, decisions. We're at this point of transition of into a higher perspective. Okay, let's get a couple more qualifiers. How long? Oh my goodness, an hour and 18. Virgo, I'm sorry. Honestly, I do try. This is extreme. You are the longest one yet. Itala. We've got spirituality, connecting to source. Got love partnership. This, as I said, could be a love partnership. But it also could very much be a partnership with yourself that is then bringing in that alignment. And it doesn't have to be about a romantic love partnership. Falling in love with the world again, the world falling in love with you. We've got spiritual career. Spiritual career and individuality. Spiritual career isn't just, it's about anything that you put meaning into and you really care very deeply about. So there's a sense of activation here. If you haven't received what you've needed in order to boost that spiritual career, I feel like that's going to come in. It's helping you be a free individual as you roam through the world. Right, Virgo, I'm going to leave it there. I do apologise. Sorry, not sorry, though. That was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, it would be an honour if you hit the like button. It would bring me a lot of pleasure. If you want a personal reading, check out the description box where my website is, as well as on the channel page. I relaunched it at the spring equinox, had a lot of fun making that with AI art. But other than that, Virgo, be good to yourselves, be good to those around you, and most importantly, be well until we meet again.